Picture this. You're walking through your day, minding your own path, when someone approaches and strikes you with words that sting. They might mock the way you look, question your abilities, or try to unravel everything you've built. How do you respond? Most people react immediately, with anger, panic, or desperate defenses, letting their feelings take the steering wheel. But Machiavelli, centuries ago, understood a truth that most will never grasp. He knew that anyone who allows insults to dictate their emotions is already defeated before the battle even begins. Think about it. The instant you let someone else dictate how you feel, you hand them control. You surrender power willingly, and you show vulnerability on a silver platter. But imagine an alternative. A state of mind so strong, so unshakable, that no insult, no provocation, no manipulation can penetrate it. Where words bounce off you like rain sliding off a rock. Where your calm becomes a force others fear more than they fear anger itself. That is what this lesson is about. These are not simple self-help tips. They are the hidden, ruthless principles of mental dominance Machiavelli would have used to remain unbreakable amid chaos. By the end, you will know how to embody a mind that cannot be shaken, cannot be manipulated, and cannot be broken. And if you're ready, write this in the comments now. I am untouchable. The foundation of this power lies in detachment. Before we explore the laws, understand this. People only disturb you if you allow them to. Consider it deeply. When someone throws an insult your way, the words themselves carry no inherent power. Power resides in your reaction. Power begins the moment you refuse to surrender your emotions. Many confuse calmness with weakness. They think ignoring provocations is passive, but nothing could be further from the truth. True indifference is dominance. It is control in its purest form. When you stop reacting, you rob others of influence over you. You become the master of your emotional state. You become untouchable. And that, my friend, is dangerous in the most powerful sense. Dangerous because unpredictability terrifies people. Dangerous because you are impossible to manipulate. Dangerous because you wield control entirely. Here are 10 dark laws that will forge that power in you. Law 1. Anticipate disrespect before it strikes. The naive expect life to be fair. They anticipate kindness, respect, and rule-following behavior. When reality defies those expectations, they are shocked, wounded, and unready. Machiavelli understood differently. Disrespect is not random. It is strategic. It's a test, a measure of your resilience, a method for others to see if you can be rattled. When you expect mockery, envy, and betrayal, nothing surprises you. You become prepared for the worst human behavior, unshakable. Think of walking through a hostile environment. If you are aware of danger, you do not act surprised by it. Life is that environment, and most people wander blindly, stunned by every slight. As Machiavelli said, the wise act immediately, the fool reacts too late. Prepare yourself for disrespect, and you neutralize its power. Predict it, and it loses all sway over you. This isn't cynicism, it's realism, it's readiness, it's strength. From today, assume some will try to undermine you. Assume some will test your limits, and watch how effortlessly calm you remain. Law 2. Harness the power of silence. Few recognize how devastating silence can be. When someone attempts to provoke you, insults you, or challenges you, they seek one thing: a reaction. Anger, argument, defense. That is their victory. Your refusal to react is yours. Think back. When you've held your tongue instead of snapping, haven't you noticed their discomfort, their confusion, Their doubt? Silence generates mystery. Mystery breeds fear. Fear commands respect. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if one cannot be both." But your silence must be intentional. It must not be the silence of someone confused or hurt. It must be the calm silence of someone choosing not to engage. The first whispers weakness, the second whispers dominion. Practice this. When provoked, count to 10, then 20. Then extend the silence indefinitely. Observe how they fumble, how their confidence falters, how your control over the moment becomes absolute. Write in the comments now. Silence is strength. Law 3. Never betray your emotions. Outbursts, tears, frantic explanations, these are the marks of vulnerability. Every uncontrolled emotion exposes a weak spot for others to exploit. But mastery does not require the elimination of feeling. It requires command over how those feelings are expressed. Feeling anger is natural. Showing it is optional. The amateur broadcasts every emotion. The master processes it internally, acting only when it benefits them. When provoked, your pulse may race, hands may tremble. That is human. But the strong acknowledge it and then choose their response deliberately. Machiavelli said, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose, it is safer to be feared than loved." Control your emotions and you become unpredictable. Unpredictability fosters fear. Fear generates power. Practice distancing yourself mentally. Picture the provocation happening to someone else. What advice would you give them? How should they respond? This separation grants clarity. Emotions become signals, not commands. Affirm now in the comments. I control myself. Law 4. Own the narrative. Don't defend it. Many weaken themselves by defending every slight. When criticized, the instinct is to justify, to prove worth, to argue. But Machiavelli knew differently. Over-defending reveals insecurity. Those who are strong need not explain themselves at every turn. Confident individuals do not seek validation from every voice. Powerful people operate by their own rules. To defend is to accept their frame. To control the conversation is to dictate the frame. Reframe, redirect, dismiss. If someone questions your intelligence for a role, you do not argue qualifications. You remark, interesting perspective, and move on. You do not rise to their bait. You demonstrate that their words hold no authority over your state. As Machiavelli noted, everyone sees appearances, few experience reality. By refusing to defend against minor attacks, you assert dominance. Control the frame. Dictate the terms. Choose your engagement carefully. Affirm this in the comments. I control frames. Law 5. Detach from all opinions. Both praise and criticism can enslave you. Most think the danger lies only in criticism, but dependence on approval, even positive, is equally corrosive. When your self-worth relies on applause, you become as fragile as one crushed by contempt. External validation, whether positive or negative, chains you. True strength comes from internal grounding. Your values, discipline, and inner compass. Feedback should serve improvement, not emotional highs or lows. Praise motivates or informs, criticism instructs or corrects, but neither should govern your mental state. Machiavelli emphasized the importance of surrounding oneself with discerning voices, opinions that matter, from those who understand your character and ambitions. Others are just noise. When external approval ceases to dictate your mood, you achieve freedom. Fear of criticism evaporates. Power emerges. Practice. 1 week, avoid seeking validation. No likes, no compliments, no feedback checks. Observe the liberation and energy preserved. Affirm now. I validate myself. Law 6. Reward control, punish reaction. Like training an athlete, your mind requires reinforcement. Each time you remain composed under provocation, reward yourself internally. Each moment you resist reactive impulses strengthens your mental resilience. Recognize your victories over impulse, and you condition your mind to crave control. When reactions go unchecked, they reinforce vulnerability. When control is chosen, it becomes habitual, a weapon. Every calm breath, every moment of composed observation is a step toward untouchable dominance. Teach your mind that power lies in stillness, that the true triumph is the absence of visible struggle. Every moment you let emotions dictate your actions, when you could have maintained composure, you need to reinforce self-discipline. This isn't punishment for the sake of suffering. It's about teaching your mind which behaviors earn reward and which invite consequence. The brain learns through associations. If calmness brings pleasure and uncontrolled reactions bring discomfort, your subconscious will naturally start favoring restraint over chaos. How does this work in practice? When you maintain control in a tense situation, reward yourself. Indulge in something small that brings genuine satisfaction: a warm bath, a favorite movie, a walk in the park. Whatever nourishes your sense of calm. Conversely, when you allow anger or frustration to take over, impose a small challenge on yourself. An extra set of exercise, a cold shower, skipping a comfort for the evening. Something that reminds your mind that surrendering to impulse has a cost. Over time, this conditioning rewires your default reactions. Calm becomes automatic, reactions become foreign. Most people rely on sheer willpower to master self-control, but willpower is finite. It exhausts. It fails when you need it most. Smart individuals design systems that make restraint effortless. Machiavelli said, "Men are so simple and ready to obey the present necessities that those who deceive will always find willing victims." Don't fool yourself into thinking raw effort alone will suffice. Build mechanisms that strengthen you automatically, until remaining unshaken is second nature, and losing control feels alien. Write in the comments now, I train myself. Law 7. Leverage indifference as a weapon. Most assume a response is required whenever someone challenges them. They feel compelled to argue, defend, or prove themselves right. But masters know the opposite is true. The more you don't care, the more your adversaries become desperate for a reaction. True indifference dismantles manipulators far more effectively than anger ever could. When you flare with rage, you hand over evidence that they can sway you. When you remain detached, you demonstrate that their power over you is zero. Think of someone in your life utterly unaffected by others' judgments. How do people react? Often with respect or frantic attempts to capture attention. That is the force of genuine detachment. When insulted, respond with measured, authentic nonchalance, not coldness, not arrogance, just a natural disregard. Their expectation is disruption. They anticipate agitation. They receive nothing, and the weight of your calm crushes their efforts. Crucially, this indifference must be sincere. Superficial apathy reads as effortful and weak. Authentic detachment radiates strength. Develop this by investing your energy in what truly matters: your ambitions, growth, meaningful relationships, not in opinions of those irrelevant to your path. Machiavelli reminded us, the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. Be the fox to recognize traps, the lion to intimidate predators. When provoked, see the trap, avoid it, and remain untouched. Law 8. Channel provocations into power. Every attack, insult, or attempt to diminish you delivers energy. The choice is yours. Squander it on anger and frustration, or transform it into fuel for mastery. Most squander it, wasting energy in petty arguments or anxiety. The wise convert it into progress, skills sharpened, projects advanced, bodies strengthened, empires expanded. Someone doubts your potential. Let that doubt ignite relentless effort. Someone mocks your appearance. Channel it into fitness or discipline. Someone challenges your intellect. Use it to study harder, to master new knowledge. Every slight is a gift if you redirect it wisely. Observe carefully. Attacks reveal more about the attacker than the target. Their own insecurities, fears, and weaknesses are exposed. They reveal what they perceive might wound you. Turn that against them constructively. If they perceive weakness in your appearance, elevate it. If they see skill deficiencies, make them undeniable. Never fight meaningless skirmishes with trivial adversaries. Instead, cultivate a strength that renders their attempts inconsequential. Machiavelli said, "I'm not interested in preserving the status quo. I want to overthrow it." Take every provocation as fuel to exceed their expectations, to shatter limits they set on you. Victims succumb, victors leverage. When insulted, ask, "How can this drive me forward?" Transform each critic into an inadvertent mentor, each slight into motivation. Law 9. Release with calculated precision. Most believe wrongdoing presents only two options: forgive or seek vengeance. Machiavelli saw a third path: cold, deliberate calculation. Revenge is a tool, not a requirement. You owe no one retribution, and proving strength through every conflict is unnecessary. Sometimes vengeance serves strategy, protecting reputation, sending a warning, safeguarding your interests. Strike when advantage aligns with purpose. Often, though, retaliation drains you. It steals time, focus, and energy from pursuits that grow your power. The strong choose when to engage and when to let go. Decisions must be guided by strategy, not emotion. Ask yourself, will acting advance my goals, protect something valuable, serve long-term advantage? If yes, plan meticulously. If no, release completely. This is not passivity. It is strategic sovereignty. Pride alone drives most to fight foolishly, but pride is costly, predictable, and blinding. Calculation creates power. Now, affirm, "I choose wisely." Law 10. Become untouchable through detachment. People affect you only when they locate something you cannot surrender without distress. True detachment severs that access. It doesn't require indifference to life. You can love family without letting threats dictate your choices. You can treasure your achievements without criticism destroying your confidence. You can pursue success without setbacks extinguishing your drive. Detachment means desire without dependency, preferences without enslavement. When no external factor commands your inner calm, others cannot control or manipulate you. This makes you dangerous not because you harm, but because others cannot. Consider the most untouchable individual you know. It is not that they are unmoved by life, but that their engagement does not render them controllable. Machiavelli said, "He who is highly esteemed is not easily conspired against." When untouchable, people respect your authority, self-mastery, and independence. Respect outweighs affection. It endures and runs deeper. Develop this through holding lightly. Savor victories without clinging. Learn from failures without despair. Appreciate relationships without dependence. The aim: full engagement in life without emotional enslavement to outcomes. Master these 10 laws, and you will embody a state of mind few achieve. Impervious, unshakable, untouchable. Indifference is sovereignty. Calmness is the crown of the strong. Remember, tomorrow, when provoked, Law 2 calls for silence. Next week, when criticized, Law 5 guides detachment. Next month, when drawn into drama, Law 10 preserves untouchable poise. Knowledge alone is powerless. Action is essential. Begin with one law, master it, then integrate the next. Eventually, you will be the person everyone notices but cannot disturb. Immune to chaos, impervious to manipulation, untouchable. If this insight has shifted your understanding of power, hit like, share with someone who reacts too easily, and subscribe for more secrets of influence, strategy, and mental mastery. Affirm one final time, I am cold, calm, untouchable. The weak react, the strong respond. The masters simply exist in unassailable control. Which will you be?